Mario Kart World has some truly amazing courses. Thoughts on the overall package aside, the game includes 16 wholly new tracks, with some of the 14 returning having been so heavily modified they may as well be new. But with the trick system and free roam, ranking a course in World is slightly different than it would be for all the other entries in the series. I'll be judging each based off of 3 metrics: the course itself, i.e. the twists and tricks and turns, the aesthetics, i.e. the vibes, colors, and set dressings, and, new to World, how fun it is to explore, i.e. the hidden paths and panel placements. And just to preface my own personal biases, I love a good course with plenty of twists and turns. A course that lets me drift to my heart's content will do well. So let's go through and rank all 30, starting with... I'm not saying it's bad, and it is the only course I've been able to get close to lapping others on, but I found Koopa Troopa Beach to be incredibly bland. It is, in essence, a big circle. A beautiful circle with a couple hops here or there, but its only theme is beach. And there's a different course that pulls off beach significantly better. I guess there's also DJ Koopa if you look at that one screen, but meh. As for exploring, you can go up that little hill. Plus, one of the Sams is so deceptively far away from the bulk of the course, leading to a frustrating time fruitlessly scouring the same bland beach repeatedly. Koopa Troopa Beach is the only course in the game where I'm actually disappointed when Versus Mode tosses it up as the next race. Desert Hills was the first course I landed upon when exploring free roam for the first time, back when I was young and dumb and caught up in the whole idea of an open world Mario Kart game. Now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit dumber and have 100% completed an open world Mario Kart game, this course is fine. While I do have mad respect for the inclusion of Toko Tokos and Batidons from Super Mario Land, which are 2 enemies I never would have expected to see again, this course bumps up against a personal bias of mine. Desert boring. The whites and yellows and browns never do it for me. Even worse, the original DS version of the course feels like the Mario 3 desert come to life. It has so much character in that sense, but with the strive for realism in World, all that character was lost. The race isn't all that bad. I do enjoy this section where I'm hopping over the sand dunes, but it doesn't account for the blandness of the surroundings. Exploring in free roam was a comparatively better time. Navigating through and above the ancient ruins was pretty enjoyable, if not the most memorable or challenging. I don't personally have any nostalgia for the video game Mario Kart 64. Although I do appreciate that Cow has been integrated as a playable character, but Cow as an enemy hazard, it doesn't do much for me. Moo Moo Meadows is another course I consider fine. This is one of the returning courses that has gone through the least transformation. It's fairly similar to its Mario Kart 7 iteration, the main difference being the ability to explore the surrounding ranch, getting over the annoying stamp that is only revealed by running over a hay pile. The rest are fun enough to get to. There's a few different ways to get atop the big barn in the center, each with their own flourishes, all of which are fun, but the course is just the course. Maybe it's unfair criticizing a standard returning course for being standard and unchanged, but that is what I'm doing. Imran Khan called this out on Bisky, and he's got a solid point. Why did Toad build his factory so close to Bowser's domain? Was the real estate really that cheap? Or do we not know the full depth of his politics? Either way, Toad's factory is a good course, but in a game full of great courses, even the good ones find themselves settling towards the bottom. Toad's factory's biggest thematic feature is moving platforms. But similar to a boring desert, the somewhat cartoony factory doesn't do much for me either. And the movingness of the varied platforms was never as exciting as other elements. It does have my white whale in nailing the hanging rail right at the end of the course though. Exploring opens up the factory a bit more, falling off a higher section, then having to either rewind or slowly crawl back up a winding staircase can get frustrating. But figuring out how to get atop the dome or timing rail hops just right to get the big stack of coins was quite enjoyable. Wario's Galleon is probably my number one in terms of impressive overhauls. The Mario Kart 7 course initially had racers dipping in and out of a partially submerged ship, going both above and below the water. With the world's removal of underwater racing, the entire course was overhauled while still retaining the original's essence, and it's quite impressive. I'm just not the biggest fan of water driving in World, and this course is mostly that. The lessened traction, especially when accounting for the roaring waves, made this twisty course feel a bit too slippery. Exploring the course wound up being incredibly frustrating. The layout confounded me with the pathing markers removed. Have I gone to the back of this building? How do I get up to that one? Let's launch from this tower to the next, hoping I land where I want? It's an amazing reimagining, though I didn't love my time with it. Peach Stadium is one of the few courses in the game that is actually a 2-for-1. The first time it's encountered, the train station portion of the castle is raced around once, with the finish line being on the first floor. Naturally, this version is not loopable and is only encountered after racing from one course to this. The second course is the loopable one, which involves racing around the actual proper track, which is floating around the castle, and it's a really solid one. The latter version feels like a successor to the Mario course from 8. A fun race through the skies with a well-designed castle as an ever-present backdrop. Exploring this castle is also quite fun. The building around it led to some fun rail riding, and there are a couple fun secrets atop the castle, including a super special secret after unlocking Mirror Mode. Peach Stadium is one of the most standard of standard courses this time around, but given that it's actually 2 courses, and 2 pretty good ones, I found myself really enjoying it. This next course is where the overall quality turns from good to great. From here on out, all the courses are differentiated by much more subtle standards, because Acorn Heights is a really good track. From gliding and grinding over thick vines or avoiding giant acorns, every moment is fun and makes a good case for the grind system. Exploring the map opens it up with side paths found in multiple nooks and crannies. This one's main fault is determining the range of the course while exploring. Are the hills in the background free game? No. What about this big lake just out front? Also no. Acorn Heights' only other fault is it doesn't stand out enough. There are courses that are more fun to explore, there are ones that have cooler tracks, but a good course is still a good course. The Great Question Mark Block Ruins lives on the extremes. Gliding up to the course for the first time is exhilarating, racing through the skies, bouncing on clouds, drifting on crumbling pieces of floating rock is great. Excellent theming, excellent course, but exploring in free roam is a frustrating experience. One wrong turn and you're falling down all the way. And the correct way to get to the surrounding islands still eludes me. The way I manage it feels entirely jank with a fairly high fail rate. But whenever these ruins pop up in a race proper, then it's going to be a good time. Monster trucks slinging mud around an arena is popular for a reason, which is what makes Wario Stadium such a good course. With huge ramps, great drift opportunities, and pyrotechnics, it's always fun slinging mud around. And exploring the area is also quite good. Getting to some of the areas by ground can often be a bit confusing, but when you get up there, rail grinding among the rafters, it is quite an awesome time. In what is both kind of a returning course and also kinda not, the Mario circuit in MK World is a gross amalgamation of multiple courses from the original Super Mario Kart, and this design, in many ways, is among my favorites. There are no frills, just drifts. Drift around corner after corner to get ahead of the competition. Each of the 3 subcourses counts as 1 lap, so just try to go fast. I love drifting. As for exploring, the only standout is getting up to the center building with the giant Mario statue. Every other secret is just, can you hop up on the middle divider? An excellent but bare bones course leads to a not too interesting area to explore. Speaking of returning courses that remained mostly the same, DK Pass is another really good one. The stylings along the edges have been manicured to make a picturesque mountain resort, and racing up and around it has never felt better. I especially love the pole that can be tricked off of on the way up. Exploring has the racer grinding through the stands, making giant leaps from the top of the mountain onto insufferably spaced out platforms, and overall just enjoying being in a winter wonderland. Being the very first course in the game, it sets the standard going forward, which makes sense why the Super Mario Bros. Circuit has landed almost exactly in the middle. It's the most average course in the game. It exists within a saguaro-filled desert, undoubtedly based on their grocery outlet from the Super Mario Bros. And the Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach anime from 1986. It also does a good job of introducing the newest concepts in World. Has a few good but simple rails to grind, and a nice shortcut with a gliding ramp. The design is simple, yet fun, with a good change in altitude to make it feel fantastical. This is also one of the few courses fully utilized during battle mode. The sprawling flooded areas below the curve and the various rails among the buildings and rafters are very fun to maneuver around. Also, certain versus paths have the racers going through this course backwards, which is super cool. It makes perfect sense why this was chosen as the starting course. While the Mushroom Cup opens with the Super Mario Bros. Circuit, it closes with another solid, if not fantastic course, Whistle Top Summit. Train lovers rejoice, the main gimmick of this course is Train Station. I imagine this would be much higher for those with that particular hyperfixation. For me though, I like this course a lot. If Mario Bros. Circuit introduced rail grinding, Whistletop capitalized on it. The length of the rail system can be grinded upon for most of the level, with one especially fun section towards the middle with multiple rails in parallel that can be hopped in between. Exploring the course is also good. While I didn't especially love falling into the nearby lake, seeking the hidden paths around these two tall mountains was a great time. Hopping and grinding along the varied roofs of the main train hub was especially fun. Almost to the halfway point comes another new course, Faraway Oasis. This course is beautiful. Driving through the savannah, past a host of animal friends, bobbing through the river, launching off a big cliff, and especially drifting around a humongous waterfall, the course is excellently designed. Of course, I mostly love getting on the path above the river due to my aforementioned aversion toward water driving, but still, the level opens up a fair bit in free roam with stamps around the lake or on the hills among the outer edges, and while it was good enough, there's nothing too special. Dino Jungle is another one of those courses that is so good that I had to double check why it was this low on the list. Which says nothing of this course's quality, more so how good the rest of these courses are, because Dino Jungle is especially good this time around. This is another that has underwent a seismic transformation from its previous iterations. Most notably, the cave has been transformed into a vast laboratory filled with various dinos. I especially love the shortcut of wall riding along the edge and jumping over the T-Rex as it bursts into the scene, and in free roam, winding up along the edges of the lab was superb. Jumping up half pipes, leaping for coins, hopping between rails to get to the nest up top, such a fun course the whole way through. Ever since its inception in Mario Kart 7, Shy Guy Bazaar has always been a great course. The sense of speed found drifting through the merchant stands and city corridors is incredibly evocative. The course is still markedly the same in World, every turn recognizable, but the trick and grinding systems make going through it even better. Wall riding up to another ledge and taking rail shortcuts around the main path adds so much. And that is only the default course. Certain versus paths instead take the race through the palace, making it both a returning and an entirely new course. The biggest knock is that the second part of the course is basically hidden. None of the actual cups included, so if you're not devoted to online or versus mode, it might never come up. I've personally only played it twice or thrice. It's such a cool course and undoubtedly the least played in the game. But the city is extrapolated further in free roam. Every street corner, every hallway, every rooftop has a secret to discover. This also has one of my most favorite expert challenges, tricking through the rooftops of the city, which took me dozens of tries, but I loved executing it. Despite my addiction to chocolate, Choco Mountain has never been one of my favorite courses. It's all very, brown. Which is why when I first encountered it in World, I didn't even recognize it. Gone are the oppressive mountains and deep chasms. Now bubbly, dangerous chocolate pools impede the racers. Fountains of that goopy brown surrounding the course. They drive through a giant monster truck-shaped mountain with 3 exciting jumps. And, most importantly, charging chucks! Let's go! Free roam takes advantage of this big monster truck mountain by hiding many things along the grind rail up top, although getting caught in the brown goop can sometimes be not the most fun. But did I mention charging chucks? Hey, remember earlier when I said that another course utilizes the beach theme better than Koopa Troopa Beach? Isn't Peach Beach just incredibly lovely to race through? Driving along when the game is at sunset is gorgeous, and the big city on lap 2 is beautiful. I especially love attempting to wall and rail ride through the city, even if I often plunge back toward the city streets. And exploring grants the freedom to drive on top of each rooftop, ringing the bell in the tower, or just having a lovely time navigating the beach and city, looking for some very well hidden stamps. It was such a gorgeous time exploring this particular beach, because there's actually stuff to explore. Do better next time, Koopa Troopa. This next one might be a controversial pick, because, arguably, Cheep Cheep Falls is the best looking course in the game, at least to me, the autumn enjoyer. Driving through these orange-hued Japanese-style festival grounds or navigating through a stunning rushing river might be the most I enjoyed looking at this already amazing looking game. But therein also lies my issue, the river. I cannot quite get the correct handling to navigate through it. And when I do feel like I'm getting it, here comes a Cheep Cheep to smack me around. This is mostly alleviated in free roam though, where I can enjoy the sights and temples and rock gardens at my leisure. It is grossly fun riding backwards through the river like some salmon, and any of the multiple spots that let me glide above this gorgeous locale were always welcome. Speaking of gorgeous courses, Starview Peak is out here for the cozy snow space lovers, which hey, that's me too. With the entrance being an idyllic snow-covered hillside, the lower level being a fire-lit library/cafe, and the course itself taking the racers around a star observatory-style building with a floating water section that I find pretty good actually. The course is actually quite simple, but the vibes are off the charts. Space is, of course, cool. The ever-present Aurora Borealis is beautiful, and gliding through the half library, half observatory at the end ties it all together wonderfully. And it has one of my favorite areas in free roam. With some creative falling, a pipe takes the racer up to the very peak of the observatory where a handful of Lumas have congregated. And it gets better. Both of the outer rings can be ridden on, and there's a glide spot at the top that gives a beautiful view of the snowy region of World. And this is it, the important ones. The top 10 Mario Kart World courses. Number 10 is Salty Speedway, because who doesn't want to race through Venice? Now admittedly, riding through Venice involves a lot of riding on water, but also it's so cool on this course, bobbing and weaving through this canal, avoiding the sidewalks like a bumper boat, is implemented very well. One of my favorite moments during this course is wall riding up the spiral stairs, then quickly hopping onto the rail in the middle to launch over the normal path. This is another course that is fully utilized for battle mode. Its watery paths and tiered sidewalks and rooftops make for a pretty good battle arena. And these same watery avenues hide many great secrets in free roam. I love getting atop the buildings and chasing Nabbit around, or the number one secret in all of video games ever, something behind a waterfall. Sometimes tracking down the various stamps among the multitude of buildings was tough, but it was always a great beachside city to explore. And with number 9, my water complaints will come to an end, as Dandelion Depths overcomes that hurdle to be one of the best courses in the game. My favorite aspect of this course is the process of going from above to below. The upper portion of this abandoned mining site are good and all, but it's the contrast between this old rusted building and the vibrant, glittery, colorful depths is what makes this course so alluring. Hopping through the pools down below with everything awash in an ethereal light blue was stunning, and launching up the hill back towards the surface, it felt like I was escaping something. It's a really fun course. Then taking my time to wall jump and glide to fully explore this subterranean cavern was deeply enjoyable too. While only landing at number 8, this course might be the most emblematic of what Mario Kart World wanted to be. It takes the concept of the trick and grinding systems and does only that for the entire time, all while being a nostalgia-fueled masterpiece. DK Spaceport is fantastic. This race is split up into multiple sections, each being a reimagined construction girder from the original Donkey Kong. One layer has the racers hopping over barrels, another grinding on multiple rails, one riding up along a series of walls, culminating with a giant robotic gorilla guarding a Game & Watch themed rocket ship. It's a stellar course through and through. Then exploring opens up this construction site even more, driving around the rocket ship, enjoying it in much closer detail, while hopping in between girders to find a plethora of secrets. DK Spaceport felt like the team pulling out all the stops in an attempt to show why the new features in MK World were worthwhile, and I am certainly sold. Number 7 is an interesting one. Despite it being a returning course, many would have first encountered it in World. Sky High Sundae was one of the new courses released through the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe booster packs, then later included in Mario Kart Tour, and it is a standout in World. Given how new it is to the series, the course itself remained fairly similar. It no longer features anti-gravity, and has instead been given numerous areas to rail grind and wall ride. Oh, the hubris to ride along the big cookie on the side and land back on the main course. The aesthetics are unparalleled. I mean, who doesn't love ice cream? Exploring this dessert course mainly involves finding the correct rafter to drive down. There are only so many ways to hide stamps on a floating course after all, but even still, launching just correctly off the ledge to the pipe up to the ice cream platform was incredible to discover. Sky High Sundae is delicious. Number 6 is the type of course that has to be a standout every iteration. And Bowser's Castle this time around more than lives up to the expectations. This is one of the courses that plays the most with gravity. Many moments have the racers driving at steep angles and on impossibly floating platforms. In contrast to the more, well, normal courses, it stands out even more. I especially love the last section. A visual effect is applied to the side of the screen, blue flames come out of the racer's wheels, making it feel like the fastest portion in the game. Hopping underneath a giant Bowser's maw is the icing on top. Exploring the castle was a great time with the grinding mechanic. The most fun way to traverse was along the outer rim, diving around various corners to discover many excellent challenges and also stamps. Even the lead up was appropriately epic. The giant castle walls, the race up an active volcano, culminating with one of the best courses in the game. Okay, this one's another controversial pick. The 5th best course in Mario Kart World is the ultimate culmination. The course with the biggest expectations to live up to. It's this game's Rainbow Road, and it is exquisite. Where Starview Peak played with Sky and the Aurora Borealis, Rainbow Road opens with the racers launching into the exosphere. The packaging is stellar. The music with multiple different movements and extensive use of my favorite MIDI device, the Yui, is an appropriately bombastic accompaniment to the action. Said action taking the race through multiple different locales, a cloudy snowy section, a really cool mechanical section, and a more traditional end section with a flying train carrying passengers from all across the game, and a scenic view down at the entire world I've raced through for dozens and dozens of hours. With multiple split paths, excellent drifting opportunities, and vibes out of this world, it's easily one of the best Rainbow Roads in the Mario Kart oeuvre. Heck, it's such a good course, I don't knock any points for it not being explorable in free roam. But speaking of free roam, one of my most favorite courses to explore lands here at number 4. Crown City is a marvel. Calling back to personal biases, I always love a game that lets me explore a big city, and this extends to racing through one apparently. The Crown City course is itself split into multiple different paths. There's the outer suburbs, there's the beachfront, and my personal favorite section, the downtown hub. I love grinding and wall riding through the narrow alleyways. I love the beautiful scenery of the beach and pier, and flying through and above these skyscrapers, enjoying the fun posters, drifting past the Koopa drones, launching through the giant trophy. It is all such a fantastic experience. Then slowly driving through and exploring each of these areas was a disparate but also great time. Navigating the large park was nice, glancing out at the big mountain was cool, drifting up through the parking structure was awesome. Much like how DK Spaceport was the centerpiece for the trick system, Crown City, with its innumerable secrets and background details, is the centerpiece for free roam, and the fact that it's still also a great course only makes it even better. While overall I'm a fan of Mario Kart World and its aesthetic proclivities, one thing I miss is the fantastical nature of some of the other games. The only 2 courses that feel as weird and unique as courses from games past is this and Rainbow Road. But even Rainbow Road was just an evolution of Rainbow's past. What makes number 3 so special is that it curbs this real-world expectation. Leaping into the silver screen of Boo Cinemas was an abs-boo-loot cinema time. It was really cool. It's the only course that physically transported the racers into another world. While the course itself isn't the most intricate, the theming takes the cake. Boos popping up throughout, Vacation Peach eternally caught in film, and as the racers exit, a crowd of boos applaud our performance. It's hard to beat a track that feels different than all the others. Exploring was also quite good. The movie theater has multiple levels to trek through, the docks outside, reminiscent of the original Super Mario Kart course, were nice, and there is a pretty tricky jump in the film world. Boo Cinemas shows the rest of the game, what strong stylization is able to achieve. It makes everything else feel just a little bit better, making for the third best course in the game. And here at number 2 is one of my favorite courses of all time. I've loved it since I first played it on the Nintendo DS, and have loved it every iteration since. And in World, Airship Fortress is back and better than ever. The course itself has remained remarkably similar to its early revisions, only now I get to rail grind through the top of the ship or while avoiding the flame pillars, which are small additions but make it all the more exciting. And other than that, or the multiple on-ramps when arriving from different courses, it's just Airship Fortress again. And really, what's better than that? I'll get to that in a second. But where drifting down the stone tower is great, drifting up is also a blast. The entire tower is navigable with a food stand at the peak, a rail going around the edge, paths are available above and below the bridges, other paths along the periphery can be gotten to via cannon, and my favorite part, the entire ship can be explored. Rail grinding, leaping from sail to sail was swashbuckling, and navigating this large ship, launching into the distance when I was done, was a deeply rewarding experience. Which leaves number 1 as Dry Bones Burnout. It's one of the best designed courses, fun drifts, multiple paths that can be jumped between, with excellent use of rail grinding and wall riding. I personally love the ramp right at the end, which puts the racer through a launch star, and then it has some of the best theming in the game. What If Dry Bones Was Dia de los Muertos is a great pitch. Fantastic art is spread throughout, riding along bone walls and throughout giant skulls was cool, or should I say hot, due to the pools of lava every which way. Exploring was also fun. Throughout these twists and turns exist so many hops to rails and glides that take the racer all throughout. It's my most favorite course to race through, it was a blast to explore, it's the best course in Mario Kart World. Thank you so much for watching. What are your favorite Mario Kart courses? Let me know in the comments below. While you're here, maybe leave a rating or subscribe for more, or you can look in the description for my socials where I'm at Mario8th everywhere. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.